Yo, what's good, you guys? Hope you guys are doing well. In this video, I'm gonna break down a Lil Baby loop, so let's not waste no more time. I'm gonna play you the final loop right now, and let's get right into it. So the first sound that I started with was this bell from Omnisphere, and here's the pattern. So I started with this little region right here. I just was trying to make something repetitive that was catchy at the same time, and then I just copied that all the way over. And then I added a couple notes at the bottom just to create some chords and some fullness to it, and then also some notes up top as well. And then all I did was take that same pattern and I just brought it down one octave, and that's it. And that's a little trick for me to keep things fresh and exciting but still repetitive at the same time. So that's a little trick that I like to use to keep things repetitive but still interesting. Is you can start either up and then bring it down, or start down and bring it up, but you can keep it repetitive but still fresh at the same time. So then I added this pad just to add a little bit of ambiance to it. Pads are always going to work really well. So this pattern's from Analog Dreams. Here's what the pattern looks like. So it's super simple. I just created some chords here, and just to add a little bit of ambiance, like I said, and just a little bit of fullness. You know, pads always work really well with almost any loop. So it's a good way of just accenting something, adding texture, adding ambiance to a loop. So that's what I did. And the way I have it structured out, you can see here, I brought in this sound right here. It's Contact. It's a bell from Contact. It's actually Mount Flux. And so I just like to add little things here, little ear candy. Nothing too much. It's literally 3 notes and that's it. And then I just brought it down one octave over here, and that's it. So I just wanted, like I said, just add a little bit of ear candy to it, and bells always sound really good with these types of loops. And then the next sound that I added is probably one of my favorite sounds in the loop. It's this kind of a whistle type of sound. It's from Electra X, and here's what the pattern looks like and sounds like. And like I said, I really like, it's kind of a whistle type of tone to it. And I wanted to add some sort of lead to the loop. It needed something, because right now it's just a repetitive bell and pad. So it needs some sort of something to lead it throughout the sample. So I really liked how that sounded. Next, I added this texture from Producer Grind. Yo, it sounds so funny by itself, but with the loop, it works out okay. I love textures. I love using textures in pretty much all my loops. It just adds a lot. You know, you could have a real simple just bells and a pad, and you add a texture, and then all of a sudden it sounds a lot more complicated and a lot different than if you just had nothing with it. And here's another accent I used. It's from Producer Grind. Just once again, I'm just kind of adding little things. Now that I have the basis, which is that pad, the bell, the lead, I just want to add a little something, little flares here and there, just to keep things interesting. And then I still felt like it was lacking a little bit of something, so I wanted to add a flute. Flute's always going to sound good. I know they're a little bit played out, but flutes are always going to sound good. So this flute's from Splice, and this is what it sounds like. You know, something I feel like it could put you in a trance or something with that type of sound. So anyways, with all that together, that's the loop. So let me break down what's going on the mixer track, because that's that's huge. I feel like mixing and processing sounds is really what's gonna make your loops stand out and sound unique. So to start out with this Omnisphere bell, all I got is Valhalla, some Portal, and EQ. The Portal, it's melting rhythm. So just like the name, it's just adding a little bit of rhythm to it. With the pad, all I had on it was Valhalla, some delay, and then an EQ. There's not a lot you need to do with that. The whistle sound, I got Portal and an EQ on it. The Portal, it's the same preset, melting rhythm. Once again, that just adds a little bit of bounce to it, and so it's not just so stagnant. It's got a little bit of movement to it. This accent from Producer Grind, I got Valhalla and an EQ on it. So for the texture, I just have some Valhalla, some Portal, and EQ. I really like to actually process the textures a lot. I'm assuming other people do that too, but for me personally, I really like to just add as much as I can to every sound. And then for the splice loop, that flute, it's got some Valhalla on there, some Portal. This one is called Birds. Nothing too crazy. It's from this Memories Portal bank. And then Fruity Love Filter and an EQ. The reason why I put Love Filter on there was I just felt like the flute was a little bit too in front of all the other sounds, and I wanted to just duck it back just a little bit so it blends in a little bit better. And that's really the full loop. All I did was just bring down the pitch just a little bit. One big tip, not only when you're done making the loop, playing with the pitch is really great, but also when you're making the loop, try changing the pitch while you're making it. I do that with every single loop, and I know that's a tactic that a lot of really good loop makers do, is they'll change the pitch while they're making the loop, because if you keep listening to the same pitch over and over again, you're actually going to start, your ears are going to get used to hearing it, and it's actually going to start, for me personally, I'm like, man, I almost don't even like the loop anymore. It's just, it gets old, and it's hard to keep thinking of new ideas and new sounds you want to add to the loop when it's just sounding old. So you change the pitch of it, and then all of a sudden you're like, for me, I'm like, all of a sudden sounds are just flooding my head. I'm like, oh wow, I could add this, or this might sound good with it, you know. So I definitely recommend changing the pitch while you're making the loop, and also, you know, at the end, if you're not happy with it, or if you want to just see what it sounds like in another pitch, I definitely do that as well. So this is what the final loop sounds like once again. All right, that's the final loop. That's it. Really just start with something like a bell or some sort of piano or something, and just have a little starting point that you can start from, and then add just more sounds on top of it, and just, it's all about layering. Maybe add some textures, add some accents, and hopefully you'll come up with something that you really like. So once again, appreciate you guys watching. Hope you guys have a good rest of your week, and let's get it.